right, Nate, here we are, man.
All right, well, hey, we got an early start today, folks, as it was supposed to be a 2 o'clock first pitch, but we are live, and they've already had an out recorded as Shane Jones was the first batter. He grounded out, and we are underway here live at Clyde Flyer Field, the site of today's Division IV District Semifinal matchup between Tiffin Calvert and New Riegel. Thanks for joining us here on Heart of Ohio Sports. Today's broadcast presented by Xcaret Mexican Restaurant and Your Legacy Federal Credit Union. Once again, this is the district semifinal. Winner will move on to the final, which will be played here Friday at 5 o'clock. Blake Coleman on the mound for Tiffin Calvert today. Now we've got a list of sponsors that we have to thank here in just a moment. We thought we'd have plenty of time to get that in before first pitch, but they had other plans. They said, nope, let's go at 1:54 first pitch.
I needed those couple minutes there, but all right.
We were definitely hoping for them, but that's all right. We're good. It is 2-0, the count on, let's see, this is Matthew Flores at the plate. Matthew Flores on the season, batting .349 for the Blue Jackets. 29 hits and 83 at-bats. 5 doubles and a triple on the year. Scored 23 runs. That one in there for a strike, and it's 3-1 now on Flores. 17 walks on the season, so he's got a good eye at the plate. You're going to have to pitch to him. That one fouled off at the plate, so now it's a full count. Good job by Coleman to work his way back after falling behind 3-0. Beautiful day for baseball here at Clyde Flyer Field. We'll get to the weather report brought to you by TPC Food Service here in just a little bit. We'll have keys to the game brought to you by Xcaret Mexican Restaurant. As that one, a swing and a miss by Flores. And Coleman gets the strikeout there for out number 2. Also want to thank our first pitch sponsor, Hope in Fostoria. Of course, we'll give them lots of love throughout the broadcast as well, as they got a really nice commercial we put together for them. Our announcer camp today brought to you by Lee's Floor Covering. Player of the game brought to you by MST Sauce Company. Postgame show, stick around, brought to you by Your Legacy Federal Credit Union. And our Sky Camp today brought to you by Linda S. Ritzler Accounting. Those are your title sponsors for today. We got a few more sponsors to thank for their contributions as well. That one swung on, grounded to short. Palm up with it and over to first for the final out here in the top of the first. We're heading to the bottom of the first. No score. That's a 1-2-3 inning for Blake Coleman. We'll keep it right here. We'll thank our sponsors for allowing us to bring this broadcast to you here on Heart of Ohio Sports. Once again, thanks to Xcaret Mexican Restaurant and Your Legacy Federal Credit Union, our presenting sponsors here today. Also want to give a huge shout out and a thank you to Hope in Fostoria, MST Sauce Company, Feasel's Frame and Collision, First National Bank of Sycamore, Lee's Floor Covering, Linda S. Ritzler Accounting, Steinmetz Signs and Graphic Inc., TPC Food Service, and Klaus Electric, all proud sponsors with us here on Heart of Ohio Sports.
There they are. I was trying to get them up on the screen for you. Finally got them up there.
Very nice, very nice. Of course, the wizard on the controls today, Greg Kinn joining me. Austin Rodriguez on the camera inside the Calvert dugout. Boy, that brings it back memories from last year, doesn't it, Greggy? Remember when we had to turn off your microphone over there?
Oh, yeah. It gets rowdy in the dugout.
It's a fun day down there. Once again, I want to give a huge shout out and a thank you to Ryan Greenslade, the athletic director here at Clyde High School, for his accommodations and getting us set up here. We're just behind home plate, and we're sharing a little space here today. That's the Sky Cam, once again, brought to you by Linda S. Ritzler Accounting. I want to give a huge shout out and a thank you to Linda for jumping on board with us here for the playoffs. Once again, she's a huge Calvert baseball fan. She's got a couple family members on the team, so she is an avid supporter of Calvert baseball. And I'll tell you what, folks, if you're out there watching and you're a business owner and you're asking yourself, well, first of all, if you're out there and you're a business owner and you're watching, you're welcome. You're welcome. But second of all, if you're watching, you're saying, how can I get involved? I want to be a sponsor as well. Well, hey, just drop a comment right now. Drop me a comment in the comment section of this video if you have to. That's the easiest way right now that I can get a hold of you, because I'll just send you a message as soon as I can from the Facebook page itself or from YouTube or whatever you're watching on right now, whether it's Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, Facebook. And hey, if you're watching, make sure you give us a follow, a share, subscribe, especially on YouTube. Set to start the bottom of the first here. No score between Tiffin Calvert and New Riegel. Nick Palm leading off for Tiffin Calvert. Last time Senecas were on the mount, or on the diamond in a tournament game, I should say, they dispatched Fremont St. Joe 15-0 to get here.
Yeah, I feel like I was there for that one.
You were. You and Tommy.
That was an easy day at the office that day. I think for maybe a little over an hour game or something like that.
Shane Jones on the mound for New Riegel. Give you his numbers on the year. 52 innings pitched, 1.21 ERA. He's 7-2 on the year. Only given up 9 earned runs. He's got 70 strikeouts in those 52 innings pitched. So this kid has an arm. And I tell you what, he's not afraid to go after hitters. Only given up 12 walks compared to those 70 strikeouts. That's impressive. Palm fouls that one back.
Now, we do have insurance on that Skycam, right?
We have insurance on our equipment,
So
yes.
I was going to say, it is very, that net ain't going to help it very much if that ball hits it where it's at. But I got it in a nice spot there where you can see through the net.
3-2 to Nick Palm. And that one swung on, fouled off, and to the left. And we'll do it again at 3-2. Nick Palm, Finley commit. On the season, batting .451. 32 hits and 71 at-bats. The 3-2. Up high, and he draws a walk. On the season, he had 29 of those. He's good for a .653 on-base percentage. And I'll tell you what, Greggy, when he gets on base, well, look out. He's got 20 steals in the regular season alone.
I was going to say, you get him on base, you might as well get him on third base. He just sneaks around and steals every base on his way there.
He finished 5th in the SBC River in steals with 20 steals on the regular season. That one swung on and fouled back. Of course, that's nowhere near the top spot, Greg. Chase Dussel led the way with 52 steals on the year. Can you believe that? That is just phenomenal. Kid's got some legs.
I was going to say, he's got to be quick.
Got a motor. The 0-1 actually throw over to first. Palm back safely. 0-1 the count here on A.J. Shoemaker. Strike 2. Has that one in there for a strike. Shoemaker finished, let's see, 6th. Yeah, 6th in the SBC River in batting average with a .440 batting average on the regular season.
Ooh, trying to catch him sleeping over there at first again.
Of course, Connor Moyer finished 2nd, the .484 batting average. I'm looking at SBC stats, courtesy of Higgins.net. That one swung on and fouled off to the right, down the first base side. And we'll do it again at 0-2. Mason Johnson in the on-deck circle. Nick Palm down at first base. Shane Jones comes set. The pitch swung on, fouled off. We'll do it again at 0-2. If there's one thing I know about this Calvert lineup, they will work a count. They will work a pitcher. They're going to make you throw a lot of pitches. Even down 0-2, if you think you're going to get a strike in there on them, well, they're battling. They're up there battling every at-bat. That one inside. Shoemaker with a good eye, now 1-2. It's remarkable to think he's just a freshman. They got a few freshmen on this team that are just, I mean, talk about production.
Well, I know.
Shoemaker hits that one. Shortstop gloves it, throws to second, and gets the first out, but they do not turn the double play. As they get the lead runner, Nick Palm. Shoemaker over at first for
like
Mason Johnson.
I was going to say, I don't think they got the double play because it kind of looked like he almost dropped that one
Yeah.
after he got him out there on the base, and he was like, oops. And
He
he
did
pick it back up.
Yeah, he did have the out, though. He gloved it and held
Yeah.
onto it while he tagged the base.
He must have maybe he went to adjust to throw it over or something and dropped it there.
I think what happened was they like to do that, drop it out of the glove into your hand and throw it, and that's probably what happened. Ooh, and it got him at first, a throw out by the pitcher as Shoemaker was caught leaning there. Jones hadn't even thrown a pitch yet. He goes straight to first base with the first throw.
Smart.
And caught him sleeping. Now 2 down here as he comes to the plate for Mason Johnson. Wind blowing in today, straight in from center field. I'm going actually a little bit center field to right field.
I don't think it knows what direction it's coming in.
Yeah, it's swirling. It's crazy. The 1-0 in there for a strike to Johnson.
I say I can feel it coming from my left. It's like blowing against the back of my head, the front of my head.
Johnson batted .432 on the season. And that one inside. 2-1 the count now. Nine home runs on the season for Mason Johnson. That one inside. Now 3-1 the count to Johnson. That's hard to do, Greg. The 3-1 swung on, fouled back. Pretty close to that sky cam, but we're good. We're good. I think they all saw it and they're like, we're going to aim for it today, guys. The 3-2 from Jones. Swung on and missed. Strike 3, Shane Jones works through the first 3 batters after giving up the leadoff, what was it, a walk to Nick Palm? Shoemaker grounded into a fielder's choice for the first out and then was caught looking at first base, and then a strikeout for the final out. And that is 1-2-3 for the Calvert lineup. We head to the top of the second. It's no score here. And this Division IV District Semifinal matchup between Tiffin Calvert and New Riegel. We'll step aside, take a quick timeout. We'll be back after this. You're watching Heart of Ohio Sports.
Federal Credit Union, your premier financial institution in Seneca County since 1952. Your community, your legacy. Federally insured NCUA.
You're watching right here on Heart of Ohio Sports, the pulse of the Buckeye State.
Top of the second, no score. New Riegel up to bat here. And in the 4-hole, that one's hit well into right field. This one's going to go over the head of the right fielder all the way to the fence.
I was going to say the wind
on his horse.
Wow.
Is Brad Shirk, and he's going to be head first into third base safely with a leadoff triple for the New Riegel Blue Jackets.
Yeah, the wind was definitely your friend with that one. Did you see it? They
Yeah.
just kept sailing and sailing
Yep.
and sailing.
It picked it up and ran with it.
Oh, yeah.
And then it just kind of swirled around up there.
It's like, not that that wasn't a nice hit, but
He
probably got another
crushed it
extra
off the
base out of
bat,
that one.
absolutely. That was going to get over the head anyways. They were playing in, but the wind just kind of played tricks on it, carried it out there further into right field. So a leadoff triple for Brad Shirk. That first pitch in there for a strike. Actually, that was not Brad Shirk. I had the name wrong there. I'm looking at the Calvert lineup.
Oh. Hey,
New Riegel don't have their numbers listed.
I think it says shock on the back of his.
I want to give the right guy credit for that leadoff triple, though. That was Connor Paul, I think?
I can't see his.
Carson Paul. Carson Paul. I'm reading handwriting, and it's cursive, so
Yeah.
pardon my...
What is this cursive you speak of? You still do that?
This one is Asher Schalk at the plate. It's 1-2 now to Schalk. Schalk on the season batted .234, 18 hits and 77 at-bats. Swung on and missed. Strike 3 from Coleman. And that's the first out of the inning.
I could just tell by the way he loaded that throw up that it was going to be blazing when it came through there. I think he about threw his whole arm right off his shoulder. When he did that.
That'll bring up Zach Wirtz. The DH today, batting 6th. That one low. Wirtz, tall drink of water there. As that one just below the knees. It's 1-0. Coleman comes set. The pitch. In there for a strike. Caught the outside corner there.
I don't know if I was hearing things, but I thought I heard that umpire say that as Steve, right?
I know, I like his
love
call.
that.
I like his call. I'm already a fan. Squares to bunt, and he misses with the bunt attempt. They're trying with the squeeze play there to score the runner from third, but nice defensive adjustment there by Tiffin Calvert. They saw it coming.
Mm-hmm.
They were ready for it. The 1-2 from Coleman. That one gets away from the catcher. Runner's coming home, and he scores the first run of the game for the Blue Jackets.
There's dirt in your face there.
Carson Paul. Yeah, I had to wait until the dust settled there.
Sliding in the home like
Literally.
that. Threw it all up at us.
It is 1-0 New Riegel. And a 2-2 count here.
Pitch there just got away from there.
Yeah.
Just enough for him to make it in the home there.
2-2 count from Wirtz, or on Wirtz here. The pitch from Coleman. That one low. He's been low with his pitches today, and honestly, as a coach, you'd much rather have your pitcher being low than high. That's a preferred thing, but calls haven't been there yet. And that one swung on and foul tipped at the plate, and Wirtz stays alive at 3-2. Putting together a good at-bat here is Zach Wirtz. Just 3 hits on the year in 22 at-bats. The 3-2 from Coleman. Swung on, and this one chopped. Shortstop gloves, throws to first for the second out here in the top of the second.
Now up to bat, the first baseman, number 20, Drew Tiss.
That'll bring up Drew Tice. Did she say Tills?
I don't know. I was going to say I heard everything but his name.
That's Tice, right?
She said, coming up the bat, first baseman, number 20, and I didn't hear the name.
Drew Tice. I think, right? T-H-E-I-S. That's how I've always heard it said. Inside for a ball.
Oh, I just now noticed. Look at these jerseys that they're wearing here.
They all have their last names on them.
Well, besides that, the little sleeve there. You know how Colombian has their little tornado guy? They have a nice like Navy guy on the sleeve. That's nice. I've never seen that logo on any of their stuff before.
That's cool. Greggy's like, hey, that's a new logo. I
Oh,
want
yeah.
it. I want it.
I'm over here.
Where'd you get that?
Logos.
The 1-1 from Coleman. That one low.
He's got an interesting stance. You see how he stands like with his feet together, and then he takes the step when he goes to swing.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, catch it out front, kid.
His feet perfectly together like that.
Oh, yeah. Blake Coleman. Rocks and fires. Swing and a miss. Two and two the count now on Tice. 2 down here in the top of the second.
Look at that hair that he's rocking in that beard, Nate.
Swing and a miss. Coleman throws it by him.
We're gonna make sure he's
Look
a
at
high
that
schooler.
lettuce.
We're gonna make sure he's a high schooler. Check that out.
1-0 New Riegel as we head to the bottom of the second. You're watching Heart of Ohio Sports. We'll take a step aside. We'll be right back after this.
Betting happens as fast as sports, and now every play is faster than ever before. You're on the edge of your seat until the moment when it's all on the line, which is why it's important to pause before you play. Sports are fast, betting shouldn't be, so remember to set limits, know the risks, and pause before you play. To learn more, visit pausebeforeyouplay.org. Brought to you by Hope and Fostoria and the Carsa Coalition of Seneca County.
You're watching right here on Heart of Ohio Sports, the pulse of the Buckeye State.
All right, and we're back here on Heart of Ohio Sports. Nate Mullins and Greg Kinn on the call with you here today. We've got Austin Rodriguez on the camera. Thanks for tuning in. Today's broadcast presented by Xcaret Mexican Restaurant and Your Legacy Federal Credit Union. Start the bottom of the second here. Connor Moyer leading off for Tiffin Calvert. They trail 1-0 to New Riegel. Blue Jackets got a leadoff triple from Carson Paul. And then he scored on a wild pitch as the Blue Jackets take the lead in the top of the second.
One of the Super Mario Brothers here. Gotta love that nickname Tommy handed out.
Moyero.
Mario Brothers.
That
oh,
was
look
swung
at
on,
that.
belted. And Connor says, you want to play me in a shift? Did you see the second baseman was all the way over by first base? There's a gap right there. He says, I'm just going to hit it right there.
That was beautifully placed. Beautifully placed. Just outside of the reach of the pitcher, right between everybody.
I mean, these kids have shown all year that if you want to try to adjust to them, they got an adjustment for you, you know?
Yeah.
And it's 88-88 right now. No, just playing.
Yeah, I've seen that on the scoreboard. And now it's apparently 0-8.
And it's 1-0 New Riegel. Bottom of the second. Runner down at first base. That's Connor Moyer. Cameron Moyer at the plate. Throw over to first. Gets away from the first baseman. Connor's going to scamper over to second. And he's going to be in there with a stand-up steal. I don't know if they'll count that as a steal, whether that's an error or not. That's got away from the first baseman, so now they have a runner seemingly in scoring position here. And Cam Moyer at the plate.
Ooh.
I want to give a big shout out to all the Calvert students watching in the Activity Center.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That is really cool.
Glad that since you guys can't be here, we can be here for you. Oh.
Swung on and missed, but Moyer
Just
is
chased down.
tagged out after they got away from the catcher. He was wise enough to just start taking off.
Oh yeah, and the catcher was right on.
Right on top
He
of
made
it.
sure he wrangled that one in and took off and went and tagged him real quick.
So at the plate, the pitcher, Blake Coleman. Coleman swacks that one down. Foul down the right side.
Hey, are you a dragon? I see that. I just want to know. You go to NTC?
I'm a coach for Tiffin University.
Oh, the baseball coach?
Sports media coach.
Oh. Charlie does my lawn. He does something in sports. Do you know him?
I don't. And that one in there, actually, no, it's going to miss just outside for a ball, so it's 1-1 now on Blake Coleman. Swung on and missed. Nice pitch there by Jones. And it's 1-2 now on Coleman. The 1-2. Swung on, hit.
Oh, nice.
In between the first baseman and the second baseman. They were there, set up in the shift there, Greg, and they were right there to make the play, but he hit it in the perfect spot right between both of them.
Yeah, it went past one guy right between the other two guys.
That's one thing that,
it was perfectly placed so that nobody could get the ball back to first base in time to get him out.
Absolutely. And I think that's one thing that all year long that's been consistent with this Calvert team is they've done a really good job at situational hitting, but also placement. They know how to hit the ball where they want to hit the ball.
I'll tell you, overall, it speaks volumes for this team. It's just the maturity level.
Schultz fouls this one off. It's going to go out of play.
I was going to say the maturity level of this team. I've had people ask me, the Moyer brothers, are they the seniors? And I'm like, yeah, not even close, bud.
No.
It's like they may play like it, but you got a few more years of that kind of fun stuff around here.
About as big as seniors. The 0-1. In there for a strike. It's now 0-2 on Harrison Schultz. Swing and a miss. And that is a huge strikeout there from Shane Jones. As he sits down Harrison Schultz. Now 2 down for Jacob Kidwell. Kidwell steps to the plate with runners at the corners. Swing and a miss. Kidwell just underneath of it as Jones took that fastball and took it upstairs on him. Wouldn't be surprised to see an off-speed down low here. No, another fastball right at him. Foul tipped, and he's now down 0-2 in the count. To the count, runners at the corners.
Uh-oh. Nobody was there. Oh, wait.
They got the runner caught in between third and home. Moyer is out on the throw. So Kidwell will still be at the plate in the bottom of the third, but it's still 1-0 New Riegel, and the Senecas leave 2 stranded there. Actually, 1 stranded because they get the out there. So bottom of the third, or top of the third coming up. New Riegel due up to bat.
You got me all flustered. I was like, wait, what?
Nope, it's top of the third. Top of the third. We're good.
Okay.
It's just me getting a little excited there. That was a good play. They had the runner caught in between first and second, and I think they were trying to get the distraction so that they could get Moyer to come home, but they never got the throw over to second. The pitcher just ate it, and then Moyer was kind of caught in no man's land there.
Yeah,
so
I feel like it was kind of a smart move there by the pitcher not to fire that one over to second, and it's like knew where his play was at there. He got it over to third, caught Moyer, retired the inning.
So Blake Coleman on the mound for his 3rd inning of work. He gave up a run in the last inning. A leadoff triple to Carson Paul. And he scored on a wild pitch as the Blue Jackets took the lead in the top of the second. Nate Mullins on the call with you here today. Greg Kinn, the Wizard, on the 1s and 2s, and we have Austin Rodriguez on the camera. Thanks for tuning in. Today's broadcast presented by Xcaret Mexican Restaurant and Your Legacy Federal Credit Union. We'll take a time and thank all of our sponsors for bringing you today's ball game here on Heart of Ohio Sports. Thanks to Xcaret Mexican Restaurant and Your Legacy Federal Credit Union, as well as Hope in Fostoria, MST Sauce Company, Feasel's Frame and Collision, First National Bank of Sycamore, Lee's Floor Covering, Linda S. Ritzler Accounting, Steinmetz Signs and Graphic Inc., TPC Food Service, and Klaus Electric, all proud sponsors with us here on Heart of Ohio Sports. Speaking of TPC Food Service, I want to thank them for coming back on board with us here for baseball. Big shout out to Tom Mayberger and crew. We'll get to the weather report. Of course, weather report brought to you by the TPC Food Service crew. I want to thank them for their contributions today. It is 69 and windy over here in Clyde. We are once again here at Clyde Flyer Field.
I was going to say about an hour and a half ago, it was more like 79.
It was. Yes, you're right, Greg. Absolutely.
That little cold front came through here, and lots of wind. Oh, my goodness. The ride over here, man, it was trying to blow me off the road.
Yeah. Coleman comes set. I went in there for a strike. One thing I will say, I think the Senecas are kind of pressing at the plate. Seems like they're trying to hit every pitch into the seats or into that suburb over there. It's now 0-2. And a swing and a miss. Strikeout from Coleman. And that'll bring up Carter Klaus.
Tell you, with all this wind, I sure am missing a turf field today.
Klaus batting .226 on the year. Yeah, you're right, Greg.
It's like, half afraid to talk after somebody throws the dust up. I'm like,
yeah, absolutely. Coleman rocks and fires. That one misses outside. 1-1 the count now. That one misses. 2-1 the count now on Klaus. The pitch from Coleman swung on and fouled off to the right. We'll do it again. Actually, we'll come back and do it at 2-2. That one inside. 3-2 the count. As that one looked like a pretty good pitch, but it was a little high, I think.
It seemed like it took a little while to get the call in there, too. I was like, what are you calling this one?
The 3-2. That one in the dirt. So a walk for Klaus. And that'll bring us back to the top of the order here with Shane Jones, the pitcher. Jones, a .342 hitter on the season, 27 hits and 79 at-bats. 19 walks, just 7 strikeouts. Also 19 stolen bases as well, so this kid's a ball player. Runner down at first base, 1 out. And a pitch, low. Blake Coleman comes set. The pitch swung on and missed. 1-1 the count now. Jones took a good rip at that one, but just missed. The 1-1 swung on and missed. Off speed, ties him up inside, and it's now 1-2. The 1-2. Inside. 2-2 the count. Big shout out to our camera operator, Austin Rodriguez, today, getting good shots, getting good angles inside the Calvert dugout.
I was gonna say, hanging out in the dugout. They're good to you over there, though.
Time called. Not sure if that was the ump that called time or the pitcher. I'm not sure. It wasn't the batter. He was ready. Coleman looks over to first, comes set. The 2-2. Low inside, and now it's a full count. He's kind of been nibbling today, Greg. I feel like he's just been kind of nibbling at the outside of the plate as opposed to just coming after some of these hitters. I think he's aware that some of these hitters are pretty, I mean, they're going to put the ball in play. And with the wind being the way it is today, you don't want it up in the air too much. The 3-2 swung on, and that one hit foul, just foul. Oh, I mean just foul, just by a couple of feet. If that would have been fair, that, I mean, probably would have been a triple and a run-scoring triple, obviously. Klaus would have been on his motor from first, and Jones, with the speed he has 19 steals on the season, leads the team. You got to think he'd have been on his way too.
Yeah, I can tell you this much, man. I would not want to be pitching in a windy, crazy windy day like today, because, like, imagine you're trying to get the corner of that plate and you have to adjust your pitch now for this wind. And then let's say you throw it one time, it's super strong. Throw it again, it dies down. You know.
The 3-2 is inside, so he walks him. And that'll bring up Matthew Flores. And we're going to get a mound visit here from Coach Brian Coleman. We'll take a quick thank you for all of our sponsors here for bringing us today's broadcast here on Heart of Ohio Sports. Thanks to Xcaret Mexican Restaurant and Your Legacy Federal Credit Union, our presenting sponsors. I also want to thank Hope in Fostoria, MST Sauce Company, Feasel's Frame and Collision, First National Bank of Sycamore, Lee's Floor Covering, Linda S. Ritzler Accounting, Steinmetz Signs and Graphic Inc., TPC Food Service, and Klaus Electric for all their contributions here today, for allowing us to bring this broadcast to you here on the Pulse of the Buckeye State. Division IV District Semifinal matchup here between Tiffin Calvert and New Riegel. Blue Jackets have runners at first and second base, one out. Matthew Flores at the plate for the Blue Jackets. Blake Coleman worked himself into a little bit of a jam here with that 3-2 walk. Coleman comes set. The pitch. Low. The off speed just has not been able to find the strike zone here today, Greg. It's just a little too low. It's been in the dirt a few times. The 1-0. Low. 2-0.
Yeah, it seems like you said, he's just getting a little low, and getting some of those down there in the dirt. It's kind of unlike him.
Flores, 349 hitter on the season. That one low and outside, so it's now 3-0 on Flores. So after the walk, he's now thrown 4 straight balls here as he falls behind Flores in the count. The 3-0 is in there for a strike. So I tell you, Greg, he's got the fastball working. It's in the zone for the most part. He's around the zone with that fastball. It's just the off-speed stuff just hasn't been there. He's had a hard time locating it today. That one in there for a strike as Flores was 3 steps to first base before the umpire called strike there. And I tell you, that doesn't always sit well with blue.
No, I mean, that's their call. you know?
Absolutely.
Why don't you wait till they say what they want to say before you go moving?
The 3-2 swung on, hit to the third baseman. Johnson steps on first, fires to first.
Got him.
The double play gets him out of the inning. So Johnson steps on third, fires over to first. The Senecas turn 2, and Coleman gets out of the jam with no damage done. We head to the bottom of the third.
Man.
1-0 New Riegel.
I cannot believe he got over there and got that, stomped that foot into third base, and just fired that thing across first base. Like,
what an
just
arm.
Just got it there in time. Yeah, you aren't kidding.
I mean, to throw that from third to first, that's a long distance.
He threw it that far as he was stomping on the base, getting him out, turning and throwing the ball. I would stand there with all my might and not even make it to the pitcher's mound.
Yeah.
Like, that was incredible.
What a play there by Johnson. I mean, it was hit right to him, so it's just good awareness for him to be there to make that play.
He had to scoot over there and grab it.
But he had to be able to make that throw, and that's a hard throw to make there. So today, I guess we can talk about our keys to the game, brought to you by Xcaret Mexican Restaurant in the Tiffin Mall. Of course, one of our proud sponsors here on Heart of Ohio Sports. Keys to the game today for New Riegel. I mean, Shane Jones is the key to this game today. Because if this young man can continue to baffle this Tiffin Calvert lineup, New Riegel's going to be in good shape. They've already been able to put some runners on base. They've been able to create pressure situations for the Calvert defense by keeping runners on base throughout this ball game. I'll tell you, Greg, if Shane Jones can continue his mastery that he's had so far, I think that's the key. Can he be composed and get through the entire game today with the pitching performance that he's put on so far here today?
Right. If he can continue what he started with here today, this is going to be a long day.
Absolutely.
Long day for the Senecas.
For Tiffin Calvert, I think your key to the game, they've got to be patient. They've got to have a better approach at the plate, and you got to start working some of these counts. As that one in there for a strike. Jones has done a good job, though, at working ahead in the count. He's been 0-2 on a lot of batters today already.
Yeah, he almost kind of forces you out of that comfort zone of sitting back and being patient.
Swing and a miss, and he's got Kidwell down 0-2 in the count. Jacob Kidwell at the plate. He was at the plate at the end of the bottom of the second when they had runners at first and third, but he got a runner caught in a rundown. Kidwell hits that one foul. Just fought it off to stay alive at 0-2. That's one of those where you just kind of fling your bat out at the ball and hope you make contact because you just know it's in the strike zone, but you don't want to get that called third strike. You can't do anything with that pitch. The 0-2 inside, and Kidwell backs away. It's 1-2.
Well, this is a little random, Nate, but we were looking for that foul ball up in the air, and you see this old scoreboard over here that with the Flyers jet on it. Dude, I love that.
That is really cool. Kidwell fouled at the plate, and we'll keep it at 1-2. But yeah, I think that's probably their middle school scoreboard. I would say maybe.
I just love.
I'm not sure. That is really cool though.
Yeah, I just love that you can see the old whatever logo was on there and stuff. Like it's like history caught in time. I like that stuff.
A touch of nostalgia for sure.
Yeah.
Once again, we're here at Clyde Flyer Field, the site of today's Division IV District Semifinal matchup between Tiffin Calvert and New Riegel. Jones was ahead in the count 0-2. Now he's gotten back into, Kidwell's worked himself back into the count 2-2 now. Swing and a miss. Just out in front of that one. He went with the off speed there, Greg, and just had him fooled. As Kidwell thought maybe he was coming back with another fastball.
I was going to say he's doing a really good job so far here of keeping him guessing, not being too predictable with what he's bringing.
Absolutely. Once again, we want to thank our first pitch sponsor, Hope and Fostoria, as we were unable to broadcast the actual first pitch, but our first pitch was brought to you by Hope and Fostoria. We want to thank them for all their contributions here on Heart of Ohio Sports here in the postseason. Their partnership with us, we're partnering with them, helping to present or promote some of their events and what they have coming up.
In what, like 2 weeks time?
Yes.
3 weeks, something like that?
Yes.
You're doing an event for them?
Swung on, foul tipped at the plate by Caden Otterbacher. But yeah, absolutely. We are excited to be partnering with them for this tournament run as they are one of our key sponsors here for postseason baseball. And when you hear about Hope in Fostoria, folks, I'm telling you, you need to be on board. You need to go over there, figure out what it's about, give them a call, figure out how you can help, because they're still looking for volunteers to help out with the event coming up. Make sure I get the date right, because I don't want to give you the wrong date. That went up high, and it's now back to even at 2-2. It is, I want to say it's June 10th. Yes, June 10th from 8 until noon. We'll get you more details here in just a minute.
Is that going to be at Hedges?
Yes. It's the walk to recovery, or walk for recovery.
I always need a nice recovery after I go for a walk.
Tell me about it. Yes, absolutely.
I don't think it's quite the same thing, but. I love when Nick Palm comes up to bat and he's got his little sliding mitt in his back pocket there ready. He's like, hey, I'm going to get on base. I'm going to need this here. I don't really see a lot of people that use that mitt like he does. I love that.
Yeah. Palm squares to bunt and just fouled down the third base line. Nicely placed, but he just didn't get it down with the angle that he was looking for there.
Oh, yeah. That would have stayed inside there. That would have been a nice little roller just out of everybody's reach.
Sorry, I got the time wrong on that. 10 a.m. to noon. Saturday, June 10th at Hedges Boyer Park.
Ain't nothing wrong with people showing up early.
That's right. Hey, if you want to be a volunteer, I'm sure they need some help. 0-1 here on Palm with 2 down. That one up high. 1-1 the count. Well, 1-1. Swung on and fouled off to the left.
I don't even know if that one landed inside the fence.
1-2 the count here on Palm. 2 down. 1-0. New Riegel leading Tiffin Calvert here. Bottom of the third. The 1-2 to Palm is upstairs. It's now 2-2. Swung on and fouled off again by Palm. It's 2-2. That's exactly the kind of at-bat they need right here. They've got to work some pitches against him because he's really, he hasn't thrown very many. I don't have a tally in front of me, but I can tell you he's worked his way through the lineup
they haven't been
pretty efficiently.
They haven't been drawing this out very long. Like you said, they haven't been that patient with their hitting here yet.
The 2-2 fouled off again, and it's 2-2. We'll come back and do it again.
I think Nick Palm's there wiping the dirt and stuff out of his eyes, too. I just can't. We can't even say enough how ridiculously windy it is out here.
Definitely the windiest game we've called all year, for sure. And we're sitting right behind a dusty home plate. It's been dry, too, so this dirt's flying today. 2-2, 2 down. The pitch swung on once again, fouled off. And Nick Palm, you got to think, has got to be frustrating the pitcher here because he's fouled off about 5 pitches here just in this at-bat. Jones comes set. The 2-2 up high, and Nick Palm works it to a full count now, 3-2. And this speedy Palm is dangerous once he gets on the base paths. Swung on, hit to the second baseman who fields it on one hop, throws it over for the out. And that's the final out here in the bottom of the third. We head to the top of the fourth. It's 1-0 New Riegel. Step aside, take a quick timeout. You're watching Heart of Ohio Sports. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Why go to Lee's Floor Covering of Tiffin? Why not just go to one of those big box DIY stores? Because at Lee's Floor Covering, they know that selecting the right flooring for your home can be overwhelming. They make choosing the right items for your home simple. At Lee's Floor Covering, they have one of the largest selections of floor covering in Northwest Ohio, and they make the decision-making process easy. Stop in and see what everyone raves about at Lee's Floor Covering in Tiffin. You're watching right here on Heart of Ohio Sports, the pulse of the Buckeye State.
And we're back here at Clyde Flyer Field, the site of today's district semifinal matchup between Tiffin Calvert and New Riegel. Nate Mullins on the call. We have the Wizard, Greg Kent, on the ones and twos. And, of course, Austin Rodriguez operating the camera. I almost said manning the camera, but she's a woman. So we're ready to start the top of the fourth here. New Riegel due up to bat. They lead 1-0. And Brody Holman set to lead off for the Blue Jackets.
Leading off for New Riegel is the shortstop, number 1, Brady Holman.
I'm pretty sure it's Brody, unless my stats are wrong here.
Not reading that cursive again, are you?
I mean, no, it's it's here on the SBC Stats website. So no, they said Brody over there. I heard him say Brody. Coleman comes set, and the pitch. Swung on, hit to short. Palm gloves it, and throws to first for the first out. So a quick out there for Blake Coleman. That's just what he needed. Yes, he's been in quite a few 3-2 counts himself here in this one, as New Riegel's done a really good job of working some good at-bats. Speaking of good at-bats, Carson Paul, last time he was up, knocked one into left field for a triple. Actually, no, that was right field. He hit that one into right field for a triple. And then he came home to score the game's only run on a wild pitch.
He's got him with a strike there. Good first pitch.
That's how you got to, if you're Blake Coleman, I think that's another key to the game. Once again, those are brought to you by Xcaret Mexican Restaurant. Coleman's got to be ahead in the count with these hitters. And now it's 1-1 now on Paul as he goes up high with that one. If he works ahead, he can waste a few pitches, try to get them to chase some. The 1-1. He got that curveball to break into the strike zone, so now that had a little bit of snap on that one.
I'll tell you what, Nate, no wonder he hit a triple last time. Look at his arm muscles when he flexes.
He looks like
it looks like power.
Swing and a miss. Nice pitch from Coleman for the second out. But yeah, you're right, Greg. It looked like when he twisted his hands, we were going to see sawdust coming off the bat.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. Like, he did a little grip on the bat, and it's like all the muscles just start popping out. So I'm like, jeez.
2 down here in the top of the fourth. And that one misses for a ball. Asher Schalk at the plate. 234 batting average on the season, 18 hits, 77 at-bats. The pitch inside, now 2-0 to Schalk. So Coleman got ahead of the first 2 batters, but this one kind of falls behind here. And here's the 2-0. Swung on, fouled at the plate. And Austin thought about fielding it, but she said, nah, I got a camera to run, sorry. I'd have given her credit for a bare hand snag. 2-1 the count. Coleman comes set. The pitch. Swung on, hit back up the middle. It's going to get past the pitcher and into center field for a base hit.
You can see Coleman there kind of smacking himself a little bit because that one just bounced right past him.
Well, and he was into his delivery at the end of his motion, and when that hit came back at him, that was a screamer right back up the middle.
Yeah. He just was not ready for that one to be.
Nice hit there. Yeah, nice hit there by Asher Schalk. And now Zach Wirtz at the plate.
There you go.
In there for a strike. He starts him out with a curveball that snaps into the strike zone. Runner down at first base, 2 down. 1-0 New Riegel. Blake Coleman comes set, the pitch. In there for a strike and another curveball, Greg. He's getting that to start locate. I'm telling you, when he starts locating that, it's dangerous. Coleman comes set. The 0-2. Swung on, fouled off to the right. Come back and do it again at 0-2. Wirtz just slapped that one away to stay alive. Did our camera take a hit there, Greg?
Oh, it must have.
Hopefully it's still working. It's like off. It's definitely pointed at the sky now. Uh-oh.
It's still
All right, cool. We're still working. We're good. And that one swung on and missed. And that's the end of the top of the 4th. Still 1-0 New Riegel. We head to the bottom of the 4th. Tiffin Calvert, 2, 3, and 4 hitters due up next. We'll keep it right here. You're watching Heart of Ohio Sports. Thanks for tuning in. Today's broadcast presented by Xcaret Mexican Restaurant and Your Legacy Federal Credit Union. We also want to thank Hope in Fostoria, MST Sauce Company, Feasel's Frame and Collision, First National Bank of Sycamore, Lee's Floor Covering, Linda S. Ritzler Accounting, Steinmetz Signs and Graphic Inc., TPC Food Service, and Klaus Electric for all their contributions, allowing us to bring this broadcast to you here live and paywall free right here on Heart of Ohio Sports. And folks, understand that there may be other people out here doing similar things, but there's not a lot of people doing what we're doing. We're not a highlight video. We're not coming here to just take highlights and clips and then make a little highlight video and post it and get lots of likes and shares. That's not what we're in this for. We're here to broadcast the game to help promote these athletes. The idea behind what we're doing is we want to give a platform to these athletes and promote them like we think they deserve to be promoted. We have a passion for what we do. We love doing what we're doing. Otherwise, we wouldn't be doing it. There's nobody else in this area doing what we're doing. So once again, remember that. When you're watching this video, help us out. Share the video, like, follow, subscribe. It goes a long way, folks. We really appreciate all the support we get. We can't tell you enough about all the positive comments that we get from the community, how much they mean to us. As that one inside on Shoemaker. A.J. Shoemaker leads off the bottom of the 4th here. 1-0 the score. Jones, pitch, hit back up the middle, fielded by the second baseman. Nice backhand, and the throw over to first will get Shoemaker. What a play there by the second baseman. Asher Schalk with the play at second base, and that was a nice backhanded play to come up with that snag and get the out. We talked about Shane Jones being a heck of a pitcher. I mean, he has a 1.21 ERA on the season, 7-2. He's given up just 9 earned runs all year. So it's going to be tough for this lineup. But there's Mason Johnson putting it into play in left field, and he's on base with a 1-out single. So Mason Johnson wastes no time there, showing you, yeah, he's a good pitcher, but we can still hit it.
Did you see the trajectory of that one from sitting here? Nate?
Yeah,
how it
curved.
Shot off. Yeah, it shot off heading that way, and then it just swung back to the left.
Yeah, it had a slice like my golf swing. Although I don't intend it to be that way. Runner down at first base. First pitch outside and high to Connor Moyer. Moyer, once again, 484 batting average on the season, 573 on base percentage. That one outside, 2-0 the count. Moyer had 18 walks on the season, 9 doubles, 31 hits. And that one misses, 3-0 the count. I'll tell you, Greg, the one thing that I've noticed, Jones was getting a lot of calls up until he didn't get one. And he had a comment. It was basically like, what? Since then, he's not been getting a lot of calls. That's all I got to say. Like, when you're dealing with an umpire, you need to be friendly, courteous. You should know his name before you even throw a first pitch. And there's just things that I recognized during a game that I'm like, I noticed he was getting a lot of calls until that situation. And since then, not really getting a lot of calls.
Yeah, it's just this is something you never want to do out there. Is ever question the umpire in any way, shape, or form.
Absolutely.
They do not like that.
Not one bit. The 3-2. And Moyer draws the walk. It'll put runners at first and second. See, Greg, there's another one where it was close to the strike zone there. But now runners on first and second for Cameron Moyer. Moyer strolls to the plate, batting .305 on the season, but a .547 on base percentage. 24 walks, and he was hit by a pitch 10 times on the season. $19 RBIs for the big freshman. Batting righty. That one gets away from the catcher. Both runners will advance. And now you'll have runners at second and third base with one out.
I like that there at first. It kind of seemed like the catcher had control of it. And you could see that Moyer said, oh, everybody just stay. And then the ball rolled away and they're like, nope, go. This is one of those bang, bang things. It's like, oh, hold on. No, okay, go.
Cameron Moyer at the plate. Runners at second and third. One out. The 1-1. He shows bunt. It gets away from the catcher. And Mason Johnson's going to score from third. And now here comes Connor Moyer from third. He slides in, and he's safe.
Yeah, they didn't have the ball.
They didn't have the ball.
They never had it.
The ball was never secured, and the Senecas take the lead now 2-1 on a wild pitch.
Wow. I mean, and that was a gutsy call there to tell him to come on in home. And, like, it was a wild throw over there, but still, man, you saw how close that was.
Hey, he dropped the ball. You can't.
Yeah, and now you got the coach out here talking to the umpire.
Absolutely, but I mean, I had a really good look at it from right here. There's nothing to argue. He dropped the ball.
If you have to pick the ball above the ground, then you dropped it. I don't know what there is to talk about after that.
Well, both runners score, and now Cam Moyer still at the plate with a 1-2 count. One out. Seneca's on top now, 2-1.
Gonna have a little meeting at the mound here.
Oh, they're saying the ball hit somebody in the dugout, and they're saying it's interference. Did it even touch it didn't touch the camera.
Well, I mean,
it got nowhere near the camera.
I'm not really sure what you're supposed to do about something like that. I mean, it's a ball. It rolls around. You can't really control where it's going to go. You threw it. I don't know how you can be upset about where it went.
I think they were trying to make the argument that the ball would have went into the dugout and it would have been out of play, but because it hit someone, it came back into play. And that's why it stayed in play. I think that's the argument they were trying to make. And it's a fair argument to make. I'm not trying to say it wasn't an argument. I mean, that's a fair argument. But
at the end of the day, unless you can prove that, if you have any way to prove that, there's nothing you can really do about that.
Absolutely.
It happened. Things happen in real life, real time. It is what it is.
Yep. And Cameron Moyer at the plate, 2-2 the count. And that one misses outside, and it's now 3-2 the count on Moyer. He's fallen behind with 2 straight balls. And that one outside, and Moyer draws a walk. And that is the second walk of the inning here, issued by Jones. Both to Moyer brothers. They're not going to swing at bad pitches, I'll tell you that much right now. Those kids have great eyes at the plate. Yeah, we got a pinch runner here in this situation. I think it's John Schumacher. It is. John Schumacher gets the opportunity now. 5 stolen bases on the year for young Schumacher.
Imagine having stolen bases be your specialty. What are you really, really good at? Being sneaky and fast.
Very, very sneaky. Blake Coleman at the plate. Runner down at first base, 1 out. 2-1, Tiffin Calvert. Bottom of the 4th, Jones, the pitch. Outside, 1-0. So Jones has now thrown 3 straight balls here. Actually 4. He was ahead 1-2 the count into Moyer. That one gets away from the first baseman. Schumacher on his way to second. The throw, and it's not fielded by the shortstop there.
That was close, though. I didn't even think they were going to get it there in time. That was a really good job.
The throw would have, if the throw was on target, that actually would have got the runner there. But it was just a little bit off. And that allowed John Schumacher to squeeze his way in there for a steal.
And that's just because Schumacher there had to slide back to first, and then once the ball went wild, he's like, I got to get back up off the ground now and take off.
And his reaction time when that ball got away, he was quick to, as soon as that ball got away, he was off.
Yeah.
And he still almost got caught. Great heads-up play there by the first baseman to be able to get that over there to second base.
Yeah, to get
that throw was just a little bit off. If it was on line, they would have had him.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I didn't think there was any way they'd even get it there that fast. It's a great job by them to get it over there.
That's one thing I've seen from this New Riegel team. They have a great infield defense. They really do a great job of keeping the ball that's in play under control. 1-0 the count here on Blake Coleman. That went in there for a strike. Runner down at second base. 1 out. Harrison Schultz in the on-deck circle. Pitches in the dirt, and Schumacher off. And it gets past the third baseman. Schumacher's going to score. And the aggressiveness of the Seneca's base running once again pays off as they score another run on an error, as the catcher came up firing, but the third baseman was not there to cover.
Yeah, you've just seen a couple of times here in this game so far, Nate, where New Riegel, the throws are just slightly off, and it's cost them there. It really has cost them on multiple occasions.
The throw was there for the catcher. He put it in the right spot, that there was just nobody there to cover. That one's straight up and behind us, and it's going to go out of play. Now 3-1, Calvert.
It's just crazy to think about how small of a fraction we're missing these things by.
Yeah.
And the game could be completely different, you know.
The 2-2 from Jones, swung on and fouled up and out of play. As long as it's not coming straight down on me, we're good. 2-2 the count. The pitch, swung on, and this one is going to be right at the second baseman, who gloves it for the out. Asher. I want to say his last name. I knew his first name because it stood out. I was like, oh, Asher, that's a cool name. I like that.
That was a really interesting looking hit.
Asher Schalk.
The way he swung that bat,
it
looked like instead of him hitting the ball, it looked like the ball hit the bat and bounced all the way out there.
Harrison Schultz at the plate, righty-lefty matchup. You wonder if he thinks I'm his grandma or something. Like, I'm the only person that calls him Harrison. I mean, it's just funny because I hear all the guys from the dugout, come on, Harry, let's go, Harry. And I'm like, Harrison Schultz.
It still catches me by surprise that he didn't have a preference.
Yeah, doesn't matter. Look at the pitch went through the catcher's glove, Greg.
Ouch. That's crazy.
Boy, he is firing. And the catcher's going to have to take time out.
He said, I need a new glove.
Wow, he broke the catcher's glove with that one. Do they have a backup catcher's mitt? They do. All right, we're good to go.
They're like, yeah, man, you know our pitcher. This ain't the first time this happened. We got like 5 of those things back there.
The 1-2. Schultz fouls that one off and to the left. We'll do it again at 1-2.
And this, of course, is one of those days where the sky is all one color.
Mm-hmm.
You can't even see the ball when it flies up there. Oh, that's
Schultz
a hop.
with the chopper back to the mound. And Jones comes off to field it for the final out. Seneca's score 3 to take the lead. It's now 3-1 as we head to the top of the 5th. We'll keep it right here. We'll thank our sponsors. We'll send it to the Linda S. Ritzler Accounting Skycam while we do that. I want to thank all of our sponsors for allowing us to bring you today's ball game here on Heart of Ohio Sports, including our presenting sponsors, Xcaret Mexican Restaurant and Your Legacy Federal Credit Union. We also want to thank Hope in Fostoria, MST Sauce Company, Feasel's Frame and Collision, First National Bank of Sycamore, Lee's Floor Covering, Linda S. Ritzler Accounting, Steinmetz Signs and Graphic Inc., TPC Food Service, and Klaus Electric. All proud sponsors with us here on Heart of Ohio Sports. Of course, we talk about Xcaret Mexican Restaurant a lot. I was just in there for dinner with the boys on Sunday. Had a very, very good meal. They actually had a 10-ounce ribeye on special there on Sunday. And I would have never expected a steak at a Mexican restaurant to be good, but I'm telling you, Greg, it was phenomenal. I don't know why I have this expectation, like, I like their steak fajitas, but I would have never thought to get a steak. Mm-hmm. And they did it so well. It had some kind of seasoning on it. It was just delicious. I don't know. I had a very good meal. My family had a really good meal. When you go out there, you got to go to, obviously. It's the queso, right?
Yeah, the queso. And I'm just a big fan. Give me some meat and some cheese, man.
Yeah.
And, that's the thing with, it doesn't surprise me that they had a good steak like that, because everything that they make, no matter what it really is, chicken, beef, it doesn't even matter. It's all delicious in its own way. And I think that when you start with having really good cooks and really good recipes and knowing what you're doing back there, it doesn't really matter what you're making.
Quality ingredients. That's the key. They start with quality, fresh ingredients, prepped every day fresh in the kitchen. And I'm telling you what, folks, if you haven't been in a while, you need to go treat yourself, get some queso, gather your friends. They got plenty of room. You deserve it. Go visit our friends at Xcaret Mexican Restaurant in the Tiffin Mall. Soon to have some new neighbors. Ooh, Coleman's first pitch gets away from him outside.
You could tell that one.
He got a little smile.
Yeah, that must have been one of the ones that's sticks to your hand. You knew right off the bat, oh, that's not going where I wanted it to go. Big smirk on his face.
That one down low, so 2-0 the count on Tice. Drew Tice hits that one. Chopper back to second base. Jameson Godfrey fields it and throws it over to first for the first out here in the top of the 5th.
Nice heads-up play by Godfrey there to come up and get that one. Just over Coleman's head. He couldn't make a play on it.
There's 3 Homans in this lineup, Greg. There's Brody, there's Alec, and there's Drew.
I bet they're not even related.
This one is Alec Homan. Alec playing third today. The 1-0 from Coleman. Swung on, hit back up the middle. What a snag by Blake Coleman. Underhand throw to first for the second out. And quickly, 1-2 go the Blue Jackets.
I'll tell you, for me personally, as a batter in the game of baseball, nothing frustrates me more than hitting the ball and seeing the guys in the outfield just make it look so easy like it was nothing.
Yeah.
The way he grabbed that, if I was the one swinging the bat, I'd be like, man, I hate your guts. At least make it look like it's hard, like I gave you a challenge.
Right? Break a sweat here. Come
on now.
Coleman starts out behind, 1-0. The 1-0. Swung on and missed.
Nice.
Carter Klaus at the plate. He takes a swing at that one, but just underneath of it. 2 down here in the top of the 5th. 3-1, Tiffin Calvert. And that went in there for a strike as he clips the outside corner now, 1-2 on Klaus. Swung on, fouled off to the right. We'll do it again at 1-2. The 1-2. Swung on and fouled off once again. We'll do it again at 1-2. Nobody on, 2 down. Coleman comes set, and the pitch. Swung on, chopped over to the third. Johnson, throw over, and it gets away from the first baseman, but Godfrey wisely there to cover and limits the damage to just a infield single. That should be an infield single. He was quick out the box. He would have beat that throw even if it was on point. That was a really good job out of the box there by Carter Klaus. That'll bring up Shane Jones, the pitcher, back to the top of the order here for the Blue Jackets. Runner down at first base, 2 down. Coleman throws it by him as he had him tied up on the inside there, Greg. I think he went with that curveball and just slowed it down. Jones went over top of it. The 0-1. Fastball in there for a strike. It's now 0-2 on Jones.
Fastball, slow call. Gotta like them drawn out ones though.
He's got a flair for the dramatic. Swung on and missed. Jones went swinging for that one and come up empty, and that's the final out here in the top of the 5th. We head to the bottom of the 5th. 3-1 is your score. Tiffin Calvert now on top of Clyde. We'll take a step aside, take a quick timeout, but we'll be back after this. You're watching Heart of Ohio Sports.
Klaus Electric is a veteran and family-owned full-service electrical contracting firm that has grown to be a first-class electrical contractor serving Northwest Ohio. Their mission is to provide high-quality commercial and industrial electrical projects in a timely manner. They do this by forming and training a professional team of employees who are dedicated to their core values, conscious of safe work practices, all while forming long-term relationships with their customers. Visit their website for more information at klauselectric.com. You're watching right here on Heart of Ohio Sports, the pulse of the Buckeye State.
And we're back here at Clyde Flyer Field. Nate Mullins on the call with you here. Greg Kinn, the wizard, on the 1s and 2s. And we have Austin Rodriguez on the camera. Thanks for tuning in here with us. Today's broadcast presented by Xcaret Mexican Restaurant and Your Legacy Federal Credit Union. We start the top of the 5th, or bottom of the 5th, I should say. Tiffin Calvert leading 3-1. Jacob Kidwell due up to bat for the Senecas. Brian Coleman with some words of advice there.
About you with some words of advice on our Lee's floor covering announcer game.
Hey, how we doing, folks? I want to give a big shout out and a thank you to Lee's floor covering for allowing us to bring this broadcast to us. Just a beautiful day for baseball here.
Yeah, you take this wind away and I don't have a complaint in the world today.
Not one.
Gorgeous day.
The 0-1 is fouled at the plate, and it's now 0-2 on Kidwell. Senecas lead 3-1. It's one of the closest games they've played in a while, Greg.
Mm-hmm.
That one in there for a strike. And Kidwell didn't agree with it, but that was a nice pitch there by Jones.
That one looked like it sank faster than the Titanic.
Yeah. Beautiful pitch there by Shane Jones to get the strikeout. That'll bring up Caden Otterbacher with Nick Palm in the on-deck circle. Otterbacher on the season, .321 hitter, 16 hits and 56 at-bats. Watches that first one outside for a ball. Just 7 walks and 14 strikeouts. Tells me he likes to keep the ball in play, take a rip at it. Of course, last year he was the hero in that
Oh.
They're right back up the middle. Otterbacher with a base hit.
Uh-oh, he lost
And
the
that
ball.
gets away from the center fielder, but not too far away as he's now safely on first with a one-out single. And that'll bring up Nick Palm.
I can't imagine the slight moment of panic that he had out there when he looked down and didn't know where the ball was at.
Yeah.
He looked in front of him, he looked behind him, he's like,
Now, that was Hillsdale last year that they beat, and he had that game-winning hit,
yeah,
right?
like a walk-off homer to end the game or something, I think.
That was something like that. Walk-off. They had bases loaded. I know that. Palm swings and hits that one into center, but right at the second baseman, who gloves it for the second out. That one was one of those weird hits too, Greg, where it just kind of hung up there.
Yeah.
That wind is playing tricks on me today because I thought that was going into center field, but it blew right over to the second baseman who was right there to make the play.
You know, Facebook constantly reminds me about that hit from Otterbacher last year because I made a reel out of it. And it shows it to me all the time. I'm like, dude, this is a year ago. Why are you showing me this?
In there for a strike, and Otterbacher scampers down to second base. And I think the batter might actually hit the catcher's glove there in that one. Or it might have been a foul off of his glove. I'm not sure.
Coach was asking him if he was all right there, so maybe check and make sure his hands are good.
Yeah. Got a little bit of a wind flare up here. Three and one the count here, or I'm sorry, 3-1. Tiffin Calvert, 0-1 the count on AJ Shoemaker. He watches that one down and outside for a ball. It evens the count at 1-1. 2 down. Otterbacher down at second base. Shane Jones comes set. The pitch, chopped to third.
Oh, he couldn't field it.
And he's not able to make the play as the third baseman, Holman. I'll just say Holman. It's one of them.
3B Homan.
They're going to count that as an error, so that'll put runners on first and third now with 2 down. And up at the plate, the dangerous Mason Johnson, who's already had a single back in the second inning, came home to score the game's first run. Or I'm sorry, not the game's first, the Seneca's first run. It was in the fourth inning. Outside. 1-0 the count now on Johnson. The 1-0. Down low, 2-0 the count. And you gotta wonder, Greg, if they're just not even gonna pitch to him here. Like I don't know if I would. You got a 2-0 count. You got an open base, even though obviously it's not open now. You put him on. I mean, they go after him, and he puts that one into left field. That's why I say, Greg, I probably would have just walked him in that situation.
Oh, he could. Oh, I thought he was going to keep going home there.
So they decide to pitch to him with a 2-0 count, and he makes him pay, puts that one into left field, and now runners at second and third with 2 outs, and the Seneca's doing some damage here with 2 down. That brings up Connor Moyer, the catcher.
No, they're just going to.
And they decide to walk Moyer, but not Johnson.
Yeah,
That's such an interesting call.
Yeah.
I know first base wasn't open in that situation, but even if you can just not intentionally, but intentionally walk. You know what I mean?
Right.
Just don't throw him anywhere near the strike zone. They came after him, Johnson, and they made him pay. And now bases are loaded with 2 down for Cam Moyer.
I was going to say, I love how they walk Moyer. Oh, he has to go all the way to first base just to have somebody go out and run for him. Go back to the dugout.
Well, you know Matt Coleman. He's gonna let's let him go ahead and get down there to first, and then we'll make the switch then. Base is loaded. Cameron Moyer watches that one in there for a strike. Jones starts him out with a fastball. He's got a strikeout and a walk here today. As Moyer leaves that one in there for a strike, and it's now 0-2 on the big freshman. The 0-2 in the dirt, and the catcher comes up with it. Nice job there by Flores to keep it in front of him.
I just love that moment where the runner's going to try to take off, and then like, hey, oh, okay, I'll go back,
Yep.
I'll go back.
The 1-2 from Jones, swung on and missed. And Moyer took a swing at it, but just underneath of it. And that's the end of the 5th inning. We head to the top of the 6th. It's 4-1 Tiffin Calvert. We'll be right back after this. We'll step aside, take a quick timeout. You're watching Heart of Ohio Sports.
Federal Credit Union, your premier financial institution in Seneca County since 1952. Your community, your legacy. Federally insured NCUA.
You're watching right here on Heart of Ohio Sports, the pulse of the Buckeye State.
And we're back here at Clyde Flyer Field. Nate Mullins on the call with Greg Kim, the Wizard, on the 1s and 2s. And Austin Rodriguez running camera for us today. Thanks for tuning in. Today's broadcast presented by Xcaret Mexican Restaurant and your Legacy Federal Credit Union. Let's take a moment and thank all of our sponsors for allowing us to bring this broadcast to you here live and paywall free right here on Heart of Ohio Sports. Thanks to Xcaret Mexican Restaurant and your Legacy Federal Credit Union, Hope in Fostoria, MST Sauce Company, Feasel's Frame and Collision, First National Bank of Sycamore, Lee's Floor Covering, Linda S. Ritzler Accounting, Steinmetz Signs and Graphic Inc., TPC Food Service, and Klaus Electric, all proud sponsors with us here on Heart of Ohio Sports.
For the new Riegel Blue Jackets, the catcher, number 33, Matthew Flores.
Matthew Flores leading off for the Blue Jackets here in the top of the 6th. Seneca's leading 4-1. Flores, as we mentioned earlier, 349 hitter coming into today. 17 walks, 13 strikeouts. And that one down low. 2-0 the count on Flores. So he's got a good eye. 20 RBIs, 23 runs scored on the season, and that one hit him as he comes inside with it.
Seeing the camera shot there, the stock gators coming through.
Yep.
Get ready for the game after this.
Number 1, Brady Holman.
Of course, after this one, the Stockaders and the Norwalk St. Paul Flyers will take place here at Clyde Flyer Field. We will not broadcast that one. We will be on the call for Hopewell Loudon versus Lincoln View, live from Gibsonburg, Ohio. So yes, as soon as we get done here, we are packing up and hightailing it over to Gibsonburg.
Give the people what they want.
That's right. Give the sponsors what they want, I should say.
The sponsors are the people.
Money makes the wheels move, folks. Money makes the wheels move. The 1-0 outside. And Brody Holman ahead in the count 2-0, and a timeout called by Matt Coleman. Matthew Flores down at first base. Blake Coleman on the mound. This is his 6th inning of work. Of course, they got the velo meter right behind home plate. Measuring the velocity here for Coleman. And Brian comes over and checks out what the velo's at. Just checking to see where he's at. Making sure we don't see any big drops. Two 2-0 the count here on Holman. Runner at first base, nobody down. Top of the sixth, the pitch. Outside, 3-0 the count now. And here we have a hitter's count, 3-0 to Brody Holman. A pitch from Coleman. And that one was low. So runners at first and second for Carson Paul, who had a triple back in the second inning and came home to score the game's first run on a wild pitch. And he calls time, steps out of the box here. Once again, runners at first and second, nobody out here in the top of the sixth. It's 4-1 Calvert, but the Blue Jackets threatening here as Coleman struggling with some command issues here in the sixth inning. And we're going to get a timeout. And I think you're going to get a pitching change. It's not often you see a change in the middle of a count, but I think the coach understands what he's seeing here is it's just a drop in velocity here. They don't want that to be the issue, and they don't want that to be the reason why the Blue Jackets are able to get back into this game. That's wise coaching there.
You don't want to fall off here at the end. You got to maintain your consistency that you had, and if your arm's just not feeling it here at this point in the game, you got to make the switch.
So they'll bring out Mason Johnson as on the season, 39 innings pitched, has not allowed an earned run. 0.0 ERA all year. He's allowed 2 runs, but neither one of those were earned. 48 strikeouts, just 13 hits allowed, once again, in 39 innings pitched. One thing that stands out to me, Greg, just 5 walks compared to those 48 strikeouts.
I was gonna say, it sounds like some great ball control right there.
Yeah. Get a chance to throw some warm-ups here as he gets ready. He'll come in facing the batter with a 1-0 count. As, once again, Carson Paul at the plate for the Blue Jackets. Nate Mullins on the call with you here today. Greg Kinn on the 1s and 2s. And Austin Rodriguez running the cameras for us here today. Today's broadcast presented by Xcaret Mexican Restaurant and Your Legacy Federal Credit Union. Folks, when you hear that name, Your Legacy Federal Credit Union, what do you think? What's the first thing that comes to your mind? If it's not auto loans or home loans or financing, you really need to go check out what they have to offer, because if you think it's just a bank where you can put money, that's just one of the things that they offer, one of the services that they offer. Obviously, they're a great bank, financial institution. We're proud to do business with them here at Heart of Ohio Sports. They are our financial institution that we mainly do business with. But, that's the place where you need to go first when you start looking for a car, looking for a home. Go check out the rates, because I'm telling you what, folks, they're going to probably beat just about any rate you can find in the area. They are competitive. They offer some of the best rates that you can find. So once again, check out Your Legacy Federal Credit Union, one of our proud presenting sponsors here on Heart of Ohio Sports. Mason Johnson, first pitch is in there for a strike, as he's one of those guys, Greg, that likes to play with the arm angle. Not very many pitchers you see do that, where he'll come at you.
That side arm there.
He's got the side arm. He's got like a 3/4 arm slot, and he's also got the overhand, where he'll come straight at you, right over the top. There's the overhand, throws it by him for a strike, and it's just so baffling for hitters to try to get a beat on it, because you don't know what he's going to throw next. Comes in firing, 2 straight strikes, and gets ahead of the batter now. 1-2 the count on Paul. The 1-2 is up high. And Carson Paul was had his life flash before his eyes right there. Backed away like, whew.
I think just the wind from that one hit him about as hard as the pitch would. Yeah. Startled him a little bit there.
2-2 the count on Paul. Runners at first and second, nobody out. The pitch. Swung on, fouled straight up and back. We'll do it again at 2-2. Johnson comes set. The 2-2. Goes sidearm with that one and grounds it right to the second baseman, who throws over to first, and that's going to be safe. Second baseman had to, in that situation, Greg, he had to wait for the runner to get by him before he could make that play. He had to go around the runner to get to the ball.
Yeah, that definitely made it take a little bit longer.
Absolutely. Blake Coleman takes over at second base. Jameson Godfrey moves over to third after Mason Johnson takes over on the mound. So now runners at every base and nobody out. And once again, we have a scoreboard glitch. Oh, there it goes. All right, we're good. Nobody out. Bases are loaded. Johnson comes set, and that one is swung on and fouled off. Asher Schalk at the plate. Schalk 1 for 2 on the day. Comes into today batting .234. Mason Johnson on the mound. Comes set. The 0-1 is hit back up the middle, and Palm right over the head of Palm and into center field for a base hit. Otterbacher misplays it, and they're going to get one run in, but all runners will be safe, and it's now 4-2 Tiffin Calvert. And that was a well-hit ball there by Schalk. It just went over the head of Nick Palm, who kind of waited on it and then went up for the jump and just was right over the glove of the shortstop, Nick Palm. 4-2 is now your score as Mason Johnson falls behind 1-0 the count on Wirtz. Zach Wirtz at the plate. Swing and a miss. Bases are loaded once again. Nobody out. The 1-1 from Johnson. That one's up high. 2-1 the count. Wirtz with a big strike zone.
Yeah.
The 2-1 from Johnson in there for a strike. It evens the count at 2-2. Mason Johnson comes set. The 2-2. Swung on, fouled straight back. We'll do it again at 2-2. Johnson comes set. The 2-2. Swung on and fouled straight up and back. We'll do it again at 2-2. Wirtz putting together a good at-bat here. He's had a couple of good at-bats. He likes to work the count against these pitchers. The 2-2. Swung on and missed. Big strikeout there by the big Johnson.
You gotta love it as a pitcher when you get him leaning out like that, swinging at the pitch.
One down, bases loaded. Blue Jackets trailing by 2. Johnson comes set, and the first pitch is high to Drew Tice. 1-0 from Johnson, up high. 2-0 the count now. High pressure situation here for Mason Johnson.
Yeah. Some communication there between the pitcher, the catcher, and Nick Palm back there behind him.
The 2-0. In there for a strike to Tice. And it's now 2-1. One down, bases loaded. Blue Jackets threatening here in the top of the 6th. Johnson comes set, and the pitch swung on and missed. So Johnson comes back to even the count at 2-2 now.
For the Senecas, each one of those is a little sigh of relief, getting a little bit closer to getting out of this situation.
Johnson, the 2-2. Swung on and missed.
He was feeling himself on that one.
Oh,
So
absolutely.
he turned around and said, yeah, I got it.
Number 7, Alec Holman.
That'll bring up Alec Holman, the third baseman. That one down low. Holman watches it for a ball. For 2 on the day for Holman, but he's also had a couple of miscues at third base. That went up high. Good play by Moyer to snag that one. That was a fast one.
Yeah, that thing was sailing high right there.
The 2-0. In there for a strike to Holman, as it's now 2-1. Bases loaded. 2 down. Mason Johnson. The 2-1. Swung on and missed. Blue Jackets need to take advantage of this opportunity here. The 2-2. Swung on and missed. Mason Johnson. 2 straight strikeouts to get out of a bases loaded, no outs, Jim. They only give up 1 run.
Yeah.
What a job by Mason Johnson to come in a pressure situation and to get those outs in a big-time game. Boy, I tell you what, Greggy, what do they say? Big-time players make big-time plays in big-time situations. Right there, that's what you saw.
Yeah, you aren't kidding, Nate. The amount of pressure that had to be on that young man there, going up to the mound to start throwing for the first time in this game, and then to get out of that situation. I mean, I'm sitting over here, I'm not even in the game, and I was scared. You kept saying bases loaded, and I was like, God, stop saying that. Like, you just reminded me how much pressure's on this guy. and he handled it, and he did a great job, man.
Absolutely. Once again, thanks for tuning in here. Today's broadcast presented by Xcaret Mexican Restaurant and Your Legacy Federal Credit Union. Let's go ahead and step aside, take a quick timeout. We'll be back after this. You are watching Heart of Ohio Sports.
Betting happens as fast as sports, and now every play is faster than ever before. You're on the edge of your seat until the moment when it's all on the line, which is why it's important to pause before you play. Sports are fast, betting shouldn't be, so remember to set limits, know the risks, and pause before you play. To learn more, visit pausebeforeyouplay.org. Brought to you by Hope and Fostoria and the Carsa Coalition of Seneca County.
You're watching right here on Heart of Ohio Sports, the pulse of the Buckeye State. Why go to Lee's Floor Covering of Tiffin? Why not just go to one of those big box DIY stores? Because at Lee's Floor Covering, they know that selecting the right flooring for your home can be overwhelming. They make choosing the right items for your home simple. At Lee's Floor Covering, they have one of the largest selections of floor covering in Northwest Ohio, and they make the decision-making process easy. Stop in and see what everyone raves about at Lee's Floor Covering in Tiffin. You're watching right here on Heart of Ohio Sports, the pulse of the Buckeye State.
All right, we're back. Nick Palm leads off here at the bottom of the 6th. And actually, that wasn't Nick Palm. Got to go back and look at my lineup here.
Can't see his number.
Blake Coleman.
There we go.
Blake Coleman leads off with an infield single. I don't know if that might be an error actually on the shortstop there, as he was unable to come up with it cleanly to be able to make the play at first. Sorry, trying to catch my breath. I just ran to the bathroom and back. I thought the bathroom was right behind the concession stand. No, they have 2 outhouses around the corner.
That's all right. With this wind today, you can't even tell that you have it.
Oh, Schultz hits this one into center field. But the center fielder there ranges over to make the play as the wind just caught that one and brought it down, Greg.
Kind of held it up there.
It did. Look at that wind just whipping in from center field.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And it definitely has changed its main direction a few times during the season. I've seen that flag blowing all the way to the right. I've seen it blowing directly at me.
Jacob Kidwell at the plate for the Senecas now. They lead 4-2 here in the bottom of the 6th. 1 out, runner at first. That's Blake Coleman down there. And that one up high to Kidwell. Kidwell has started out his first 2 at-bats down 0-2 in the count. He's had a couple of good at-bats, but it's hard to have a good at-bat when you're down in the count like that. This time he's able to get that first pitch upstairs, so gets himself ahead in the count here. Throw over to first. Coleman back sliding safely.
I did notice that Coleman wears one of those sliding gloves too. A little bit different than Palms, but
that one up high. Kidwell with a good eye there. Now 2-0 the count. Caden Otterbacher in the on-deck circle. Jones, the pitch. That went in there for a strike. 2-1 the count now on Kidwell. Shane Jones comes set. The pitch. Swung on, fouled straight back. And right behind us. The height that thing had for a second, I'm like, is he literally trying to hit us right now?
that was the first one that I've actually seen all the way through. Didn't lose it in the sky.
Right. I think that one was definitely the wind that carried that one safely past us. The 2-2 swung on and fouled off to the right. Boy, he smoked that one.
Nothing felt safe about that one.
No,
for sure.
Not at all.
Fired out of there like a cannon.
The Old Fort players over there making a play on it as they're shagging balls for warm-ups. Throw over to first, and the runner back safely. One thing I didn't think about, Greg, you know, we're planning on covering that Hopewell Lincoln View game. One thing I didn't consider, they also have a first game as well, just like we have here.
Oh, yeah, so that's not necessarily guaranteed to start.
Exactly.
I mean, could start earlier, could start later. This one didn't start at 2 like it was supposed to.
Swung on, chopped at the plate.
Oh,
this one's going to stay fair.
Yeah.
Kidwell beats it out of the box, and the throw over is in time.
Wow.
They get him at first. Throw gets away from the third baseman, but Coleman is going to stay there at third. But I tell you what, Kidwell, he made an attempt out of the box. He nearly beat that throw. But a nice throw there to get the out at first. Wow.
I mean, don't get me wrong. You know, base running and taking off fast, always impressive to me. But it's just so impressive to me when somebody can get down, get the ball off the ground, field it, pick it up, and then sling it over that fast. That's just incredible.
That one misses. 1-0 the count here on Caden Otterbacher. Four to 2 is your score. Calvert on top by 2. Jones comes set. The pitch. Otterbacher hits it into the air, and it's going to be fielded by the left fielder. Oh, did he make the play? Yeah, he did. Okay. He was looking for his hat. I was like, did he? He turned around and looked. I'm like, did he drop the ball?
Dude, I completely lost that one. When
dropped his hat.
I had no idea where that was going.
Nice job there by the left fielder, because I'm telling you, Greg, I lost that ball. I didn't know where it went.
Yeah.
It got lost in that blue-white sky.
I heard him hit it, and I'm like, I just started looking out there to see who was going for it.
All right, we got one more timeout to take potentially here. We're going to go ahead and step aside, take it now. We'll be back after this. You're watching Heart of Ohio Sports. Klaus Electric is a veteran and family-owned full-service electrical contracting firm that has grown to be a first-class electrical contractor serving Northwest Ohio. Their mission is to provide high-quality commercial and industrial electrical projects in a timely manner. They do this by forming and training a professional team of employees who are dedicated to their core values, conscious of safe work practices, all while forming long-term relationships with their customers. Visit their website for more information at klauselectric.com. You're watching right here on Heart of Ohio Sports, the pulse of the Buckeye State. All right, and we're back here at Clyde Flyer Field. We get set to start the top of the 7th inning. Tiffin Calvert on top, 4-2. Mason Johnson on the mound. He came in relief of Blake Coleman with a 1-0 count and nobody out. And bases loaded.
Yeah.
For Blake Coleman, once again in the top of the 6th. He did give up 1 run, but then no other runs were scored. No damage done aside from that one. Would be an unearned run for him. It would be an earned run for Blake Coleman in that situation. So that one in there for a strike as he starts him out with a fastball right down the middle. Carter Klaus at the plate. Rocks and fires that one in there for a strike. It's 0-2 now on Klaus. In the dirt. Waste pitch, if you will. 1-2 the count on Carter Klaus. The 1-2 is up high. And it's now 2-2 on Klaus.
Every time you say Klaus, I can't help but think of our sponsor, and I just want to be like, man, he's electric. Sent that one right back into the net here.
Do it again at 2-2.
This is like a nice combination of netting and fencing.
Yes.
You notice it's like the net's stretched super tight, so it's almost like a trampoline when the ball hits it. It's like boing.
Beautiful facilities over here. 2-2, grounded to short. Third baseman actually going to come over and make the play. Godfrey fires to first for the out. What a play by Jamison Godfrey, ranging over.
No kidding.
And it's not many plays that are made in front of Nick Palm, but that's Godfrey's got the athleticism and the range to get over there to make that play.
And I think he had the better spot and the better play on the ball.
You're right, Greg, because
if
if Palm had to wait on that to come to him, that might not have been an out because they were quick out of the box there.
Yeah, that was just incredible for Jamison Godfrey. He ran over there and caught it in mid as it was rolling across the field. He just intercepted it, snatched it up, and threw it over there. Great job.
Starts him out with a fastball down the pipe. 0-1 on Shane Jones, the pitcher.
Down the pipe to the Morio brother.
Jones is the only hitter in the lineup with a home run for this Blue Jackets team. He had 2 triples, a home run.
Could you say he's jonesing for another one?
I would think so, absolutely. It's going to be tough to hit one out of here today. The 0-2 to Jones, up high. Try to get him to chase that high fastball. Came down and changed the arm angle on that one, Greg.
I was going to say, like you talked about earlier, Nate, it's hard to read them because you don't know what's coming when the arm's swinging.
Mm-hmm. The 1-2.
Whew.
Down low. 2-2 the count.
That one looked like it came in from the outside to the inside there and made me a little nervous around his ankles. I was like, oh, geez, that's going fast.
Swung on and fouled off his foot. Ouch.
Yeah.
I think he's all right.
Double checking to make sure he's still got a foot.
Oh, yeah. Now, in a normal situation, that'd be where the blue goes over and wipes off the plate, give him a couple extra seconds, but we got a second game to get to here, so he says, all right, we got to get this moving.
You're good.
The 2-2 upstairs, and now Jones works his way back to a full count. The 3-2.
Oh.
That one hit foul off to the right. We'll do it again with a full count.
He got a good smack on that ball.
Yes, he
did. You hear
did.
that?
Squared up on it. Just a little bit out in front. The 3-2 up high. Jones draws the walk. A one-out walk issued from Mason Johnson, and that'll put Matthew Flores at the plate.
Matthew Flores.
Righty-righty matchup here between Johnson and Flores. Runner over at first. One down. First pitch outside, or inside, I should say. It's 1-0 the count. And that went in there for a strike from Johnson.
I always like it when I see a pitch that looks great to me, and I'm like, they better call that a strike.
No, that was a right.
Yeah, that's why when he called that one, I was like, yes.
1-1 the count on Flores. One down. Runner at first base. Top of the 7th. Tried to go off speed with that one, but missed high.
Yeah. It's
And it's now 2-1. Fouled straight back, and Moyer catches it off the bounce. Fires it back to the pitcher. 2-2 the count on Matthew Flores. The pitch swung on and missed. Johnson goes upstairs and gets him to chase, and it's now
That's what he was looking for.
Blue Jackets down to their final out potentially.
Now batting in the shortstop, number 1, Brady Holman.
Brody Holman at the plate now for the Blue Jackets. Leading hitter on the season, batting .409. I'd say it's Brody.
Yeah.
Up high. Starts him out with a fastball, but misses high with it. 1-0 the count. Runner down at first base, 2 down. 4-2 your score. Calvert looking to move on to the district final, which will be played this Friday here at Clyde Flyer High School. They'll face the winner of the matchup to be played right after this between Old Fort and Norwalk St. Paul. Johnson falls behind the hitter here. 2-0 the count on Holman. And a timeout called by Brody Holman. Hard to beat a team 3 times in the same season, Greg.
Yeah.
And that's what the Blue Jackets are showing the Senecas here today.
I mean, you learn a lot from those first 2 matchups.
Absolutely.
You bring that into play here today, and you're seeing it.
You learn more from a loss than you do a win usually, so you're absolutely right, Greg. The 3-0. And that one misses. And they really haven't given Brody Holman much to swing at today. That's the second time he's walked in the last 2 at-bats for him. I don't think they really wanted to challenge him there at all. But
take a little mound visit here.
A little mound visit as Matt Coleman comes out to talk to his pitcher. Carson Paul will be the next batter due up for the Blue Jackets. We'll use this time to thank our sponsors. I want to give a huge shout out and a thank you to all of our sponsors, including our weather report sponsor, TPC Food Service. Keys to the Game brought to you by Xcaret Mexican Restaurant. First Pitch today brought to you by Hope in Fostoria. Announcer Camp today brought to you by Lease Floor Covering. Our Player of the Game Stick Around brought to you by MST Sauce Company. Your Postgame Show brought to you by Your Legacy Federal Credit Union. And our Linda S. Ritzler Accounting Skycam today. Those are our title sponsors. We also want to give a shout out to Steinmetz Signs and Graphic Inc., TPC Food Service, and Klaus Electric, as well as Feasel's Frame and Collision for all of their help here on Heart of Ohio Sports. It's been a fun season when a lot of those sponsors have been on board with us for the entire ride, Greg. We are very thankful for all of their help and support as we're going to have a pitching change. Nick Palm coming in to finish off the final out, hopefully, for the Senecas here, as they've got runners on first and second, 2 down, but that last out has proven tricky here today as Mason Johnson issues a walk on 4 straight pitches, and now we have runners at first and second. Carson Paul due up to bat. Blue Jackets potentially down to their final at bat, but I'm telling you, they're not going anywhere, Greg. This is a fighting team.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really know what to expect. I haven't got to see the first 2 matchups, but I know that Calvert had come out on top, and I really wasn't expecting New Riegel to have the 1-0 lead for as long as they did.
Yeah.
And I really wasn't expecting it to be this close of a game here in the 7th.
Exactly.
I mean, not to take anything away from either team, and absolutely, I'm just going based off of past performance,
Yeah.
Like I said, I didn't get to see those games. I didn't get to watch them in detail, but this is kind of a little bit surprising here to me. I'm sure it's not to any of the New Riegel fans.
Absolutely. This is a team that's really come together, especially towards the end of the year.
And Calvert's had such a phenomenal season here. You just got to make sure you buckle down, tighten up, and close this one out because you're 1 out away from the win here, but that's a long 1 out away. See if Nick Palm can end things here and send them home.
Now batting right fielder, number 16, Carson Paul.
The right fielder, Carson Paul,
So we got Palm versus Paul.
steps into the batter's box, looking to play hero for the Blue Jackets here. Swing and a miss. Palm throws a little off speed there to start him out. And had him out in front.
Yeah, I was going to say, I feel like you expected that to come a little faster than it did there.
Mm-hmm. The 0-1 in the dirt. Nice job by Moyer to keep it in front of him. 1-1 the count. Runners at first and second, 2 down. The 1-1. Swung on and missed.
It's like that first one.
Just had him out in front of it.
It just comes creeping across the plate there.
And now, Blue Jackets down to potentially their final strike here. It's 1-2 the count. The pitch in the dirt. Moyer keeps it in front of him. They're just going to keep the ball and they're going to keep it safely back to the pitcher.
The runners do move over at least.
So runners at second and third now. Winning run at the plate, or go-ahead run at the plate. Tying run at second base. And a time called.
Oh.
2-2 is swung on and fouled. Just fouled down the left side. Boy, if that would have stayed fair, Greg. Oh, my goodness. Seneca's coming off just their second loss of the year as they lost to Bucyrus Winford this past Monday at Zip Zoller Field. That was a 6-1 score.
Oh, geez, how many games have they had since I seen them on Thursday?
Swing and a miss!
Wow.
Ball game! Nick Palm comes in and shuts the door on the Blue Jackets' hopes. And the Senecas move on to the district final to be played here Friday, right here at Clyde Flyer Field. We're going to step aside, take a quick timeout. We'll be back to wrap things up. We got another game to call, and it's a half hour away, so folks, bear with us. We'll be right back after this. You're watching Heart of Ohio Sports.
Federal Credit Union, your premier financial institution in Seneca County since 1952. Your community, your legacy. Federally insured NCUA.
You're watching right here on Heart of Ohio Sports, the pulse of the Buckeye State.
And we're back here on Heart of Ohio Sports. Nate Mullins and Greg Kinn on the call with you. Thanks for tuning in. Today's broadcast presented by Xcaret Mexican Restaurant and Your Legacy Federal Credit Union. You're tuned in here on the postgame show brought to you by Your Legacy Federal Credit Union. Once again, your final score, Tiffin Calvert 4, New Riegel 2. And Greggy, we don't have a whole lot of time here for the postgame show, but I do want to give credit where credit is due because what an outstanding ball game for these Blue Jackets.
Your legacy.
Absolutely, your legacy. But what an outstanding ball game here by the Blue Jackets.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You want to talk about coming to play? They came to play, Greggy.
Yeah, no doubt about it. They were ready for this one. They were looking to move on, and they came really, really close to pulling it off here.
Yeah. I mean, they had the winning run or the go-ahead run at the plate there in the 7th inning.
Yeah.
So just an outstanding job by the Blue Jackets here today. But the Senecas with another win, and they move on to the district final, which will be played this Friday here at Clyde Flyer High School. Greg, let's go ahead and give our player of the game. Once again, our player of the game brought to you by MST Sauce Company. Of course, there were a lot of key contributors here today. One of them, obviously, Blake Coleman had a great game on the mound today. A couple of hits as well. But if I had to give it to anybody today, Greg, I'm giving it to Mason Johnson.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a name that you saw making an impact when he was up to bat, when he was out there in the field, when he was on the pitching mound. He was everywhere doing everything that he needed to do to help his team get the win here today.
So there you have it. There's your MST Sauce Company player of the game. And folks, I'm sorry, but this is going to have to do it for the MST Sauce Company player of the game segment, as well as our Your Legacy Federal Credit Union post-game show. We're going to have to wrap things up because we got somewhere else to be.
And a tractor blowing dust right in our face.
It's just blowing all this dust right in our face. So I'm going to get out of here, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in here on the broadcast. Tune in here in about an hour as we'll bring you Hopewell Loudon versus Lincoln View, the regional semifinal right here on Heart of Ohio Sports. Thanks for tuning in. I want to thank our sponsors one more time. Big shout out and a thank you to Xcaret Mexican Restaurant, Your Legacy Federal Credit Union, Hope in Fostoria, MST Sauce Company, Feasel's Frame and Collision, First National Bank of Sycamore, Lee's Floor Covering, Linda S. Ritzler Accounting, Steinmetz, Signs and Graphic Inc., TPC Food Service, and Klaus Electric, all proud sponsors with us here on Heart of Ohio Sports. All right, folks, well, that's going to do it for us. Have a great day, everybody. We'll be back here in just a little bit.